if you can explain what is the crack?
Hey,
The crack.
how can I have the crack? What's the crack?
What is the crack? You are the crack.
Welcome to Audio Crack. We have a very special guest today. Honestly, huge get for us. We got Rico Bosco on the pod. Rico,
When you say us, who's us?
us, it's me.
That's how I used to do my gambling letters. I'm like, we're on the over. It'd be like, who's we?
We is just me and the team.
Yeah, exactly. We, the people who back my bets. We.
Yes.
So
yes.
we're on the under here. It's like, who's we? It's you're on the under.
Look, Rico, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Honestly, it's great to have an actual one-on-one conversation with you because, for whatever the past is, whatever everything, honestly, playing basketball with you and being on a team with you, I actually know you like ride for your guys.
Yes.
And like I want Rico on my side more than I want Rico against me.
Right.
So Rico, I just want to shake your hand.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
It's been a good
run.
I think the people need to know that about Rico and I are good for whatever previously occurred. Rico, honestly, so I was like looking at the interns at Barstool recently, and I realized that there's so many people that just don't know the lore of Barstool. Like there's new stoolies, there's new people coming in, and they don't actually know a lot of like the origin stories.
You think that's bad though? I don't think that's necessarily like bad.
I don't think it's bad, but I
Because
think
there's no way for them to go back and consume all the content.
right.
There's no way for them to learn all the stories.
But it's a great way to recycle content.
It is. You can learn some of it back. Yeah.
It's a great way to be like, Rico, how did you get here?
Because there's even some of this early day stuff that I don't know all the stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone except anyone who's been here or like is a true, real diehard fan and consumed all the content knows all the stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now, how did you get involved? Like you were a caller?
They put a thing out. I've told this story a bunch of times. They put a call out or a thing out. They're doing a college football picking show, betting show. And they were like, we're going to have voicemails. Almost every voicemail was like, I like Syracuse +7, hangs up the phone. I like Notre Dame -3, hangs up the phone. I looked at it as growing up on on radio and WFAN callers. That was like my audition. This was a way to like, for them to just, I was obviously a fan, but to like be in the mix of their shows here at Barstool. Like I looked at it a little bit of like an audition and never thought I would like be here today, but knew I had enough to like be a creative caller. So I went on like a 2-minute spiel. I'm like, this is why you want this team. It was whatever. The first 2 lines out of Dave and Dan where Dave was like, I like this guy. Dan said this guy should have his own show. Those were the first 2 lines out of it because I was so different than anybody else. And what was interesting is no one else picked up on that as callers. Like everyone had the same opportunity to be a caller or get in the mix and nobody used the opportunity to get in on it.
Well, what Barstool content were you consuming at that point?
Mostly just the rundown, their videos, tweets. Like they would tweet about different things. You get threads, like stuff like that. Reading the blog here and there, but like just kind of following them as personalities. Because the internet was like, you were looking like Twitter people would just became, it was whatever. Like you would either rattle off stats or whatever. They were the first ones that came like personalities on Twitter. So that was what I was consuming.
So what were you doing at the time?
2013, I was working in transportation logistics, booking trucks across the country, fighting with people like at like 2 a.m. when a truck breaks down and you need a new truck to like rescue it, different shit like that. Like fighting over like $50 every day. You would have a boatload. It was very simple. You had a truckload of shipments or you had a list of shipments over here. You had to move it to over here.
Yeah.
You had to move it at least 1 column or 2 columns by the end of the day. And that's what you did every day.
And was that like a logistics company, like just a general?
No, yeah, it was like a pretty big logistics company.
What are they called?
C.H. Robinson.
CH.
It's big time. So that's why people have always mentioned like, yo, you're in logistics, and there's other ones that know about it. But yeah, it was like a struggle bus.
Yeah, what?
It was like sometimes you'd be like, I can only pay $7,500 or whatever for a shipment across the country. You'd be like, I want $8,900, and it has to load. And like, what are you supposed to tell the customer? You know what I mean? Like, hey, I lost you $1,400 on this load.
Damn,
it's crazy.
What? How many years out of college were you?
4. At that point, I had been a grad assistant somewhere. Worked at the Board of Ed for a little bit. Trying to think what else.
You played college ball, right?
Yeah, Division III.
Yeah, I think you played with my buddy's friend.
Oh yeah.
Elwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Elwin.
Good guy.
Elwin's a good guy.
Elwin's a real good guy. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Where were you at GA?
Mount St. Vincent.
Football or basketball? Basketball.
Or like general
Yeah.
athletics. I was running the athletic, like the intramural program, and like, I don't know, 8 kids would show up and they would start fights, or the kids who did play like took it way too seriously. It was a fucking nightmare. I was doing reffing soccer one night, and it's like a fist fight breaks out. I'm like, this is why am I'm for no money. I was just getting my master's degree. I didn't even finish the master's degree. It was a fucking joke.
What was the master's in?
General business. I would have got a master's in general business. I have like 18 credits. I'm pretty sure they expired now, but.
You ever think about going back, checking it out?
No interest. Absolutely no interest. I don't even know what I would do with a master's degree.
I mean, start your own company.
I guess I'm good here.
You're good.
I'm good.
No, I mean, but like that, like played D3 ball. You're a New York kid?
Yes.
Did you?
Staten Island.
Yeah, you went to high school.
Brooklyn.
Okay, you didn't go to Xaverian. You went.
Yes,
to,
Xaverian.
Oh,
Xavier's.
Xavier's in the city.
Yeah, I went to Xaverian.
Yeah, you play ball there.
Football and basketball.
Dude, that college. I mean, that's a Catholic school league in the city is insane.
Basketball league?
No, the basketball and
no, I think the football league is okay.
It's okay, like
it's
nationally.
Okay. Nationally, it's not. They're not producing studs. I played against a kid, Kevin Ogletree, went to the Cowboys. Yeah. Went to Virginia. No, did he go to Virginia? Where did Ogletree go? I think Ogletree went to Virginia or USC. Where did Ogletree go to? Where did Ogletree go to college?
So I played against Isaiah Wilson. That was probably the best guy I ever played with.
Where did Ogletree go to college? Bigger than Virginia.
Ogletree. What was his first name?
Kevin.
I know the
played for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I remember.
Did he go to USC?
Kevin Ogletree. He went to UVA.
Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I did get that right. Yeah, and then he played for the Cowboys. He was a stud.
Yeah, you know Isaiah Wilson, the guy who.
No, I don't recognize that name.
The guy who was he was on the Titans and then he smoked his way out of the league.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was the guy I played against. Biggest dude I ever seen.
But the basketball league is unreal. I mean, Chris Mullen, Mark Jackson. Trying to think who else. Walter Berry is a name. Kenny Anderson, Kenny Smith. Those are all Ron Artest. Those are all names out of that league.
Well, it's crazy because even now Stepanak has gotten insane.
Took a lot of shout out, I'm friends with the coach. They got a lot of guys via Rice.
Yeah.
It was Rice closed. Rice in Upper Manhattan closed. So they just moved up to Westchester.
Yeah. I mean, Stepanak and they're trying to compete with guys across the river. Like that whole Bergen County joint, like that's probably the best. But I think there's some teams that can compete with that depending on the year.
That was the most interesting game I ever saw was the state final with Brian Cushing.
Oh,
Brian Cushing played like 9 positions. He took a snap, he threw a pass, he ran the ball, he played tight end, he played D-line, linebacker, and safety, and like returned the kick. It was ridiculous.
Did you hear that story about him that he was in detention one time and they wouldn't let him leave to go to practice and he snapped a fucking desk in half?
I didn't hear that story. But there's
other stories.
He was then he was the strength and conditioning coach for Houston, and he was like he got busted for juice like 4 times. It was fucking crazy. He was an unbelievable player. He's always kind of a dickhead.
Oh, dude, he had that just juiced up edge.
Yeah.
I mean, like the story is he was definitely juiced in high school. There's like pictures of him with like serious gyno, as they say, like cone tits to the wall.
Yeah.
Like the North Bergen guys, like I played across the river in Westchester, and just you'd hear the craziest stories about these guys being absolute juice heads, and then you'd encounter them at like regional camps, and it was just like North, like the New York guys, I guess, just never juiced.
Yeah,
like that. Whole Catholic
the league would have been better, but the Jersey guys were juicing.
But so you go to college, you're working logistics, and then you end up as a firefighter.
Right. I think there was a small logistics company in between when I got like residency in New York, and that was a wild fucking scene.
What was going on there?
Dude, it was crazy. They invented an app that was like tracking on a phone. So like normally at C.H. Robinson, they'll track you like via like every move you make.
Uh-huh.
So you call every day and like you're supposed to know like, all right, they moved 500 miles. So like halfway through. You got to get in here?
Dave.
Yeah, that was whatever.
What?
So that you have to move about 500 miles.
Are we in his room?
No, I don't think so.
Hopefully he's just in the wrong room.
I said you need to get in. He said no.
Did we just fucking take Dave's room?
I don't know. I would ask.
All right, let me go. I don't want to. So we got.
I think he was just looking for a place to meet with Marty.
Let me just check.
He's good. So you have to move like 500 miles. If you have two drivers, you're supposed to move 1,000 miles for a day. There was actually, my boss had to testify in a like court hearing because somebody was moving they were moving drugs.
Yeah.
So they used the shipment as like a facade
cover.
And they like asked him like, as an expert, in your opinion, how far are you supposed to move? It's like 500 miles. Like they were asking him basic questions, but whatever. So this place, normally I was moving like 50 loads a day with my team. Like team of like 6, and the board started like this big, and you would just shrink it and move them over. And you did it like no sweat. You had contracted guys. Like long story short, you were just moving it.
So when you're moving it, you're just making sure the delivery's done?
Yeah, you book like, all right, it's $3,600 to go from Maryland to New Jersey. Billy Transport, here, I'll pay you 32. I got 36 from the customer. And I make $400.
Oh, so you're like broker.
Make little by little each time. There was an other side of the business that was doing produce. They were buying lemons for $8 a case, selling them for 10.
Oh, okay.
So there was little by little, you get rich as it was going. It's a top like 150 or 200 company in the world. And they own no assets. They own no trucks, no nothing.
So they're just
all on
brokers.
relationships. Yeah, I was good at it because it was good on relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you take care of a guy, he'd take care of you. So anyway. So I was moving like 50 loads a day. I went there, I was moving like 1 at this new company because they were just getting started and they had no shipments. So it drove me like insane. You're just sitting there doing like 0 all day long. And then they would, in order for them to get the shipment, they would have to come in low. So if it was, they'd ask me, there's ways to tell how much it costs. And they would tell me, how much is it going to be right now to move a load from Maryland to Jersey? I'd be like, it's going to be this much. They're like, okay, it's $1,200, $3,200. They would come in $3,200. They would come in and be like, okay, well, we're going to come in at $2,800 so that we know we get the customer. I'm like, you're going to lose money. Then they would get mad at me for losing money. So I would be like, yo, this is nuts. Yeah. Like, what are we talking about? The guys who all worked there were all like these like team guys and like
Teamster guys.
They were like, no, they were like we're big on the team and this culture. And I was like, you guys are full of shit. You're losing money. Like, this is nonsense.
Were these New York guys?
Yeah, no, they were all like foreign guys. Oh. So it was just nonsense. It was absolute nonsense.
You ever get any like shipments just disappear?
Yeah, there was one, like the truck would just be delayed for a couple of days and you have to find the guy and you have to get somebody to recover it. There was one time this was at Robinson at like 2:00 in the morning, you had a cross dock. The guy takes the trailer from you.
Yeah.
If your engine's broken down,
he
hooks the trailer and then you go get another trailer, something like that. You figure it all out. And it was like 2 a.m. The guy's like lying to me. The guy pulls up to get the new trailer. And he's like, yo, it's not here, man. Like, where's the trailer? So I call the other guy. He's at like a Red Roof Inn. I was like, where is the trailer? He's like, it's parked over here. I'm like, no, it's not, you fucking liar. The guy's like, you're a fucking liar. He's screaming.
Well, what is he doing?
2 guys are screaming back at each other.
Did they steal the load?
No, they just fucking like, they just were fucking loose. They were just horrible at their job. And it was parked like across the street. So we ended up finding it. But I'm like screaming at the guy at like 2:00 in the morning. It was fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts.
Did you ever have any cases of guys like taking stuff out the back of the truck?
It was mostly like produce and stuff like that. So no, it was more like damages. Like things get damaged and they fight you. How could it supposed to be damaged? Or it's supposed to be refrigerated and it runs at a different temperature. So like the temperature goes down. It's all complicated.
You're moving avocados.
Yeah, you were moving. Your day moved because you're always on the phone. You're always making calls. As you move, if let's say you start the day with like 20, on a slow day, you start with 25 shipments.
Yeah.
You cover those 25 shipments by lunch. You're not just standing there being like, okay, I'm done for the day. They would add more. Like customers would be like, can we cover more things? And you'd be like, yeah, we'll cover more things. And they would take the different things in. So
did you get paid for the more you did?
No, there were people who worked on commission. You just did better, like down the road. So,
So then so you come back to the city?
Well, actually in between that, I worked for the Jets doing ticket sales. That was
you did?
Before logistics. Yeah, I was doing I was events and then I was ticket sales for the Jets.
How'd that go?
Ticket sales was really good. I was really, really good. They kept a kid who was kind of a fuck up ahead of me, which was annoying. I was like 3rd in sales, but I sold other shit. So I was really I probably had the best profile other than this one girl who was a stud. And they only kept 2 people full time. We were all like part-time, like to a degree. We were only like on the clock hours.
Yeah.
And they should have kept me full time. They didn't. So it is what it is. And then that kid quit like 6 months later anyway. So
you got screwed?
I got screwed. Yeah, I definitely got screwed. But
so you're talking with like a season ticket?
So I went from, I think the timeline was Board of Ed, grad assistant, Jets, transportation, fire department.
Nice.
Yeah. Right before the fire department, I had some like fake ass job where I was a recruiter.
Oh, That's actually a bomb ass job because you end up getting a
You
percentage.
get a percentage, but you start doing the math, and I knew I was taking the run test for the fire department,
Yeah.
so the commission wouldn't have kicked in. So there were days where I was just staring at the screen. Like I would make enough calls that
just
they would show that
gold-breaking?
you were what?
You're gold breaking?
I was like mailing it in.
Yeah.
All time mailing it in.
Damn. So what inspired you to become a firefighter?
Obviously it was a career you looked up to.
Yeah.
You know, I took the test, I got in the top 10%, hit the lottery, and got on. And then it was a short-lived career.
How long were you in?
2 years like full time. I was like 5. I was like 3 on what they call like light duty because I got injured. So
What?
I got burnt. Both my knees. You can probably see it on the screen.
Yeah.
Both of them there. It was crazy. So I wasn't even supposed to be working that night. I picked up a tour for a guy.
What happened? don't mind me asking.
House. No, it's fine. House went. The guy went back in for his dogs. It was just fully involved. So like middle of the night is when a house can get fully involved. Middle of the day, it's not going to
What does that mean?
fully involved. It's the entire thing isn't covered in flames.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the middle of the day, it's not because if think about it, you're home in the middle of the day
Yeah.
working, you smell smoke, you're going to call the fire department instantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Middle of the night, everybody's asleep. Smoke has to wake you up.
Oh,
So that's what
fuck.
can get a house like fully involved. Don't get me wrong, a house can be fully involved during the day,
Yeah.
but
just
this one was
less likely.
Yeah, it's less likely. So we pulled up, the whole thing was fucking going. The guy went back in for his dog. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Damn.
Neighbor called it in, and either between the door hitting my legs, the water, or just the ground floor itself between the burns, both of them going. I felt it like right away.
Both knees went?
Both knees, because everyone thinks like it's fireproof, the gear. It's fire retardant.
Yeah.
It just blocks it. It helps you.
Yeah.
So you can still get burnt, which I did.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, and then from there, they were like, yeah, your knees, and like, it lost. I was having trouble with crawling, different things like that. So I had to go back, and I kept going back for tests and different things like that. They're like, yeah, you're probably never going to be like 100%. You'll be 100% to live. You're not going to be 100% for like the fire department.
Yeah. Like,
So you're going to be on a desk forever. I did that for a little bit, and then took the opportunity here.
so when did you start calling in that timeline?
2013.
So were you in the force at that point?
No, I got in 2016. I had taken the test in like 2012. So I knew when I was calling in, I was on what they call the list. But there was like, I don't know, 100,000 people who took the test. And I was like 5,000. Then they start putting classes in of like groups of 300. So you got to go through to get to number like 4,100 or whatever my number was. You got to go through like 800 at a clip.
Damn.
And they put those classes in every 6 months or whatever. So I had to wait and wait and wait.
What do people do you think like don't know about being a firefighter that they would never expect?
Probably, I guess, like just how physically tolling it is.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a fire, the day's not done. You could go to another one that day. You know what I mean?
Huh.
Like you wash up and whatever, and then you're back in service. They call it, and you can go somewhere else the next day. Or you're doing like a lift for a CPR, or you know you're working on them. You're doing a stuck elevator. You can do a million different things. So like the day just keeps going. If you go to a fire, it's not over.
Yeah.
The
So
day's not over normally.
and like, there is the trope that firefighters just sit around all day waiting for a fire to never
Yeah, I
come.
mean
But
there's
there's so much other stuff.
Agreed. There's definitely stuff you're training as well. You're drilling in the house. There's different things like that. But like, yeah, I mean, you are sitting around, but like, how often do you see a fire? It's you know what I mean? But when you go, you got to go. There is no like, so yeah, it's sitting for a little bit, but it's just a matter of like, all right, that's just a slow week for fires,
Yeah.
and when you go, and you're going to some of the worst shit you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, I've always respected them.
What do you think about them shutting down a lot of the fire stations around the city?
They haven't shut a lot down in the city.
Yeah.
I think that's like misinformation. They haven't shut a lot down, but there's tests like everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to see how many fire hydrants they need. They're going to see how many
Yeah.
hospitals they need. So if they close one or two, that's what it is. I would just say, like, I don't think you would, depending on how quick people get there. And when you look, especially in Manhattan,
Mhm.
of how the traffic is, you want as many firehouses as possible.
Yeah.
God forbid. So that's what I would say.
Huh. What was the craziest call you ever responded to?
That one
That one?
in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. I mean, there was another one where a guy got like a hole in his head from getting hit by a car.
Jeez.
That was pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, you try not to focus on that stuff because it'll fucking depress you. You know what I mean? So you just try to make it through the day is the way I always looked at it. I always text my family, like, went to a fire, made it out. You know what I mean? We're good to go or whatever. And like, just give them an update. But,
Text them when it's all over.
yeah, exactly. It was crazy. The night I got burnt, I didn't have my phone on me because I was still like Actually, I was just off probation, but I think maybe the phone was still. I left it at the house because it was such a quick run. Like you knew you were going because it was like smell smoke, house fully involved when you're reading out the call.
Probation for what?
You're on probation for a year and a half from the minute you get sworn into the academy. So 18 weeks of that is 4 months, and then you're on for like a year after that.
Wait, probation, not in the criminal. What does probation mean?
like just like you can't screw up.
Yeah.
You're on probation, like you can't
have your phone on the job.
Yeah, there's different things of what they do in the house. Like you don't want to go in there like you own the place the minute they're in. So don't have your phone on you. You know what I mean? Like there's guys who could wear maybe wear a t-shirt, you're wearing your full like button up. You know what I mean? Like just things like that. It's very military based. Like if you're the low man on the football team, you carry the bags.
Yeah, so it's not
think of it that way.
Is it an official type like
it's official probation. Yeah. So they call you a probie. Well, so it's very much like a plebe, I think is what they call it in the Navy or something like that. So whatever. So I left the phone because I knew we were going, and I was like, can I have the ambulance woman, the EMT? I was like, can I have a phone just to call my wife? I dialed the wrong number. I woke some poor woman up at I did it off of memory because if you think you don't know anybody's phone number, I woke some poor lady up at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning before I ended up getting in touch with my wife.
She was like,
and then my wife even said she's like, I thought I was dreaming. Like I didn't get up right away to go to the house. Like it was crazy.
No, that one was that lady. She's like, my husband's in a fire.
Yeah,
and she's like looks next to her.
It's very much like out of Saving Private Ryan, where like your brothers have all been killed. It's like my brothers are in grammar school. It's like all right, whatever. So,
jeez,
yeah, it was miscommunication.
But so then you get onto desk duty. What exactly is desk duty for a firefighter?
It's a variety of different things. It's just called light duty. It's just you're never going to be a full firefighter again.
Yeah,
you're never going back to active duty. So, it's a career, but it's not what I signed up for. So when I looked at the opportunities, I was like, I'll go to Dave and roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I always had a second my job. I wanted to be a firefighter. So the second option was being a firefighter, but being on the desk.
Yeah.
I looked at that as I'm taking that spot away from somebody who really needs it, may not have a second career. Like,
right.
Let me just do this, and roll the dice.
Did you ever encounter anybody in the fire force who ever did arson?
No, there was
because that used to be a big thing back in the day.
Yeah, they tell stories about guys who was an arsonist in the neighborhood and different things like that. Like he was always around.
Was he on the force?
No, he wasn't on the force.
Oh, okay.
No, nobody was on the force. You have guys in the neighborhoods that do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you scope them out? Or?
No, we don't. It's for the marshals to whatever. It was before my time, but they told some stories about guys lighting up buildings left and right. Like it's weird because going to a fire for a fireman is what you want to do.
Yeah.
But somebody's house is burning down. It's a very much it's a weird spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're wrecking a house, you're taking down a wall, but it's somebody's house,
Yeah.
So it's a weird spot.
I mean, what are some signs of arson? Do they ever point that out to you? Or
That's ahead of my
that was above your
But the fire marshals can all tell you that. They if you watch Backdraft, the different burn marks and stuff like that.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all science. Fire is science. It knows which way it's going. They study that. They study the temperature. They study when it's going to blow. Different things, man.
Was asbestos sick? Is asbestos really good at stopping fires? Is it better than the stuff we have today?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I know that everything that we build now is plastic.
Yeah.
And plastic is worse with smoke.
Yeah.
From what they taught us anyway. Again, I was only in there for 2 years, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
But the things you remember, wood burning houses were a clean burn. You know what I mean? Instead of plastics, plastics, metals, everything like that is that's going to give you bad shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You ever, fire, do you know the history of the fire department in New York? How there used to be a bunch of them?
Yeah.
And they used to just light your house on fire and be we're not going to help you unless you pay us.
I didn't know about that.
No, it's in gangs in New York. Remember when
that was probably way before the organization because the fire department's been around since the 1800s.
It's not. It was before the FDNY.
Yeah,
there used to be 3 different fire departments, and then a fire would go up, and they would come and be we're not going to put it out unless you pay us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You got to pay your dues.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, those times were wild.
That sounds nuts.
And just
now it's for everybody who said fire doesn't see. They used to say this in the academy too. Fire doesn't see color, race, religion. That shit's burning your house down one way or the other,
dude.
So
fire used to take whole cities.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the wildfires out in California. It's crazy. So.
I mean, Chicago, the Great Fire of Chicago took out the whole city.
Crazy.
I mean, back in Rome, back when everything was wood.
Yeah.
What about, you know, remember the wildfires when it caused the smoke to come into Manhattan?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? As a like,
it's fucking nuts. I mean, it's going to burn, dude. It's like,
do you think someone did it? Do you like, from your experience with smoke, was that wildfire smoke?
yeah, it was wildfire smoke.
Yeah.
I would say. I don't think anybody did that. Or I mean, listen, maybe somebody did it and it's by accident, like a cigarette into a bush, and you don't know what it could take.
Huh.
If you leave fire unattended, it's going to burn longer. It's just a fact. It ain't burning out. It's just going to burn more.
They ever talk about like fires getting so hot that they could like melt steel?
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know?
Nah, not really. I don't know the temperatures off the top of my head. I think that leads into maybe a conspiracy or something.
No. Did anyone talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, fire, like if it gets to a certain temperature, it could burn anything.
Yeah.
So.
Were there like rumors in the department that like about stuff that happened before that you ever picked up on?
No, I didn't pick up on any of that. I just know a lot of good guys died.
Yeah.
That's it, you know?
But
I know you're a big conspiracy.
I'm not a conspiracy guy. I just would like to hear, like, my grandfather was a cop. Like there used to be so much like rumors about what happened, like people hearing like I don't know. It's just crazy.
It's definitely an interesting,
like people hearing explosions. Like you see that there's a video.
Yeah.
But we'll move on because out of respect. But you know, you're working at Barstool now. Healthy debate. How's it going?
Pretty good. I mean, it's been a rough.
How are you doing since the Chicago move?
All right.
Yeah.
Still holding it down.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's a lot to do around here.
Yeah. Still holding it down. But yeah, I mean, it's been a tough run. Obviously, controlling different issues here and there, throwing things, fucking screaming. It is what it is. But I think I just got into a deep spot where I was consuming every piece of content. It was not healthy. I was consuming everything. Who said something about you? Did they mention you? Whatever. And then you're not getting your own work done, and you're just not even living your life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're walking around your house, your wife is like, can you clean out the garbage? Can you take out the garbage? And you're walking around like this, like just listening to like a rundown, listening to whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like,
no, I get that. Honestly,
fucking insane.
Like the job we work has different, what's workplace hazards,
right?
You know, being a firefighter, it's fire.
Yep. This is
work. There's other stuff 100%. That you like, you know, I'm not belittling other work, no. but like, you know,
when you go home as an accountant, no one is like tweeting about what work. Yeah. So that's really the way to put it.
You can walk away from work.
Exactly.
This, you know,
stuff.
And the thing is, and honestly, I struggled with this a lot, and I honestly sort of am inspired by all the leaps and bounds you've made, that like, you know, you have to rationalize it in a certain way that's very, very hard.
Yeah. I just couldn't see the good. Like, and there was a lot of good. I've been on the floor at the Final Four. I've been at coaches' houses. You got to hang out. You meet celebrities. Like Mark Wahlberg said hello. Like I met him out, you know, here. Even just people walking by the office. Like you're in cool shit. You do a gambling show with Dave and Dan. Like people want to take your picture at casinos that you travel to. Yeah. Like, and it's, you know, it's great. You're talking sports your whole life. This is all I dreamed about. Like if you asked me what career I wanted as a little kid, it was talking sports. You know what I mean? And then like you get to like 14, 15, you're like, oh, I want to be a firefighter. But talking sports was my number one career as an 8-year-old. Yeah. You know, so like living out your dream like that. And I just couldn't see the good. I couldn't see like, oh, I was doing a show at Indiana, or you're on the floor at the Final Four, you're doing this, so you get to do that. I just saw all the bad. And then you just get consumed by it. And then you're severely depressed. Your mood goes down. Like it's kind of what it was. You ever try psilocybin or like psychedelics? No. I would highly recommend. I am just always on the case, and I'm just not going to do drugs. You never done drugs? No. Never smoked weed? Nope. Just never. I have an addictive personality. So like, I mean, look at what I was doing with the rundown, listening to every clip. You do get addicted to content. You get addicted to content. So like, you know, you get addicted to watching sports. Like I have 5 TVs. If the ball's dribbling in college football, I'm watching, you get addicted to a lot of different things. You can't really get like, if you like do it for, you know, therapeutic benefits, if you take like small amounts of like psilocybin, right. You're not going to get addicted. Right. If anything, it just sort of it helps you feel more positive mood, like, and it's long lasting and like it's almost permanent betterment of like, because your brain sort of starts harming itself and it's like inflammation. But if you take a little, it like decreases the inflammation. And honestly, is that what they call like microdosing? Yeah, yeah. And you only have to do it like once. Okay. But like it literally it changes your worldview in a positive sense.
Like it almost like turns color on in a black and white TV. But it really helped me. I'm just, you know. But you been working out lately?
No, I really haven't.
Yeah, that's another thing with the job.
I think the pandemic really like got me like completely out of shape. I was the heaviest I ever was.
How heavy were you?
Like 220 maybe.
Dude, I got same type of shit. I got fucked after the pandemic because I went from being
I was like I had a fat face.
Yeah.
I've now since like lost it back. Try walk. My wife's got the walking pad. I've vowed like if you can walk during a basketball game, you're gonna walk for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You do even if you did a half hour. Let's say you want to walk for the first half. That's like an hour. A first half of a basketball game takes an hour. You can do that in your sweat because you're just watching the TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could do that. If you do that every night, that's, I don't know, what do you do? Let's say 2 miles in an hour. That's low.
Yeah.
Probably do 3 miles in an hour. I don't even know what the math is. Let's say you do 3 miles in an hour. It's 5 hours a week. It's 3 miles in a week, 15 miles, 15 miles over 4 weeks, 60 miles over 12 months is like 720 miles.
Wow.
You know, like just add it up. I saw that like little different things. I just got to do it is the problem. Yeah. And the soda, I can't cut out soda.
Oh, soda? What type of soda?
Fucking Pepsi. I can't cut out any of them.
Really?
Yeah, it's whatever that taste, man.
You can't even no discretion or Pepsi?
Well, Pepsi. We're a Pepsi team. We're team
Pepsi.
We're
Pepsi.
But, I just can't. I just can't cut it out. Man.
Yeah,
it tastes so fucking good. And for whatever reason, I think I'm like always thirsty. I'll down like 3 of them,
dude,
like glasses of it before you realize. You know.
I mean, I'm big on green tea.
Yeah.
Did you get like a little buzz?
No.
You don't get the caffeine?
I need a little buzz with caffeine. Yeah, I don't do coffee.
You don't do coffee?
I don't do coffee. If it's freezing in the middle of the night, I'll drink or in the middle of the winter, I'll drink a Body Armor with the flavor. Because that's what I need. You need like a fruit punch Body Armor, but I won't, or soda. But no, I can't. I just don't do the coffee. I don't know. I never like the taste of it.
Wait. What is it having to be cold in the winter?
I'm saying like you have to have a coffee to warm you up. I'm not like that. I'll drink a cold beverage in the middle of the winter. I
don't even like super hot coffee. Like super hot drinks, like
I don't think drinks are supposed to be hot.
They're not like even soup that's too hot.
Right.
It's like what the fuck?
Yeah. I just don't think drinks are supposed to be cold.
Oh, hot.
That's hot. I don't think that's my hard take.
Super cold.
No, think of it this way: when you're quenching thirst and you're like, I'm dying of thirst. Do you ever be like, give me that room temperature drink? Give me that hot drink? No, you want a nice cold, ice cold drink. I
don't like iced coffee, but I like putting a couple cubes of ice in my hot coffee. Just like, and then I can drink it.
Yeah.
Because I don't enjoy
coffee. Also is a massively fucking expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Like shout out to all the Stella Blue people. Like it's great. You're helping us. It's great when you add it up. Like it's like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
To a degree, smaller extent, but you get a $4 cup of coffee every day. There you go. Like add it up over how much you're spending over a year. And people can't just do 1 cup a day, you know?
Yeah.
That's why Stella Blue's great. It gets delivered to your house and it's cheaper in that sense.
But does the productivity supersede the cost?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's people who can't function without their cup of coffee during the day.
I mean, it's like food is a hell of a expensive hobby.
Food is, I think, there's an old meme like, ask me where my paycheck went. I'm either wearing it or I ate it.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. I look back at some of the money you spent in your 20s of like not cooking and just eating. It's a ton of it. Of it.
I mean, cooking for one's hard.
Cooking for one is hard. But the thing I always hated was cleaning up too.
Yeah.
Cleaning up after the fact. Like, and then you finally eat your meal and you look and you're like, fuck, there's 9 fucking dishes I got to put away. Because you prep the bowl, you know what I mean? Like even just fajitas, you're cutting the onions, you're cutting this. That's one thing. That's another plate. It's another thing. You got to put the raw chicken on one plate, take it off. You got to put it on another thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now let's get into a little football. Cause the thing about, I love this show. You end up talking to a lot of interesting people. It's 2 days a week, 2 interviews a week, and you end up talking to a lot of people, but I actually haven't talked to a lot of sports people recently. I haven't talked much football. I want to talk football. So, like, what are your takes on this year, college football? Like, I want to know.
I like Virginia Tech in the ACC.
You do?
Win total. I think they're very good. They got a good quarterback. A lot of their offensive line back. I'll just give you win totals. I like SMU over. I think they're a sleeper in the ACC. I like Texas A&M. No, Texas Tech under. I think the Big 12 is very mediocre, and there's a lot of games in there that they'll be picking. And then the one I'm releasing tomorrow is Duke under.
Really?
I think Duke's got a brutal schedule. They got nobody back. New coach, third coach in 4 years.
Yeah.
Quarterback was a redshirt freshman, I think, last year. Started a couple of games when Ewers got hurt. He wasn't that great. Malik Murphy, I think his name.
Ewers, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Duke under. I like Oregon to win the title. I'm
Really?
an Oregon guy, but I just think Oregon can win the title. Expanded playoff. They've been close a bunch of times. Tough team. They get the kid from UCF as the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
So they're really, really good.
You think he'll be an upgrade from starts with the B?
Bo Nix?
Bo Nix, yeah.
No, I think it'll be like a flat.
You think it'll just be a continuation?
It'll be continuation, yeah. I mean, I think it's Dylan Gabriel is their quarterback. Dylan Gabriel does things different than Bo Nix does.
Yeah.
It's different. It's like two different guys. Chicken and an orange and an apple.
How do you think Colorado's going to do?
I think down. I'm kind of over his act.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's losing. Colorado hasn't been relevant my whole life. I know Cordell Stewart, and they probably made a championship game that I'm misremembering when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But they just haven't been good for a long period of time. They also haven't been good in basketball. There's a lot of power schools that just haven't been good. Nebraska made my lifetime. Like, I know they made a title game too, but
yeah.
In basketball, they've been horrible. Northwestern is bad in both. Washington State. Like, you go through the Pac-12, Oregon State for a long period of time. There's a lot of ones that just aren't good. Cal haven't been good in basketball and football.
How do you think about the new Big Ten?
It's kind of crazy that you're going to have a conference where you don't play everybody. So like when they're separating ties, it's like your 9-3 is better than my 9-3.
Yeah.
It's a little wacky, but I do think everybody getting in the playoff now is better. Also, I've been saying this since the day it came out. I actually wrote a blog on it. I think I did a TikTok on it too.
Yeah.
They nailed the schedule for college football playoff.
Really?
Nailed it. You familiar with how it works?
Yeah.
There's one game on Friday night, December 20th, let's say, like in that.
Oh, I don't know about the new one. Tell me about the new one.
Yeah. One game on Friday night of the 20th, let's say. This year, I think it's the 20th. The 21st, they have 3 games.
Oh, shit.
The play-ins. So those are the 4 play-ins. They then go to New Year's Eve. You do 1 game. New Year's Day, you do 3 games. The semifinals are Thursday the 8th and Thursday the 9th. And Friday the 9th. You would say, oh, well, why would they have a game Thursday night and Friday night? That's kind of weird because it leads into Wild Card Weekend.
Holy shit.
The championship game is Martin Luther King Day.
That's when that's going to be a sick weekend.
So I think the playoffs are actually better the way it leads in.
That's
Thursday night, Friday night, you get all day Saturday, all day Sunday with the NFL.
Dude, I'm
a home run.
I'm going to Vegas for a bachelor party that weekend.
Martin Luther King weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be.
You have to stay Monday night.
Yeah.
And then come home Tuesday.
You're going to have to come home Tuesday?
I would think so. It depends on if you guys want to watch the game.
Yeah. Well, because that's the final?
The final is.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be the Monday.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or you do that where you leave in the morning of Martin Luther King Day to come home.
Yeah.
And then you're all home separately to watch the final. That's not the worst way to do it either. But they nailed it. Schedule's
that's stacked.
Awesome. Yeah. You know what's crazy about college football? Like the history of you love it, I love it.
Yeah.
Forever, they didn't have a true system of a champion.
Right.
In the 80s and 90s, it never once occurred to them to think number 1 should play number 2. They played in their bowls and they just declared a champion. It was fucking crazy. Also, teams don't have a chance to win a championship.
Yeah.
Like East Carolina, they're just factually not playing for a champion.
Right.
Just factual. It's crazy. And then they finally put in the BCS, but even that they bundled because it was a computer.
Yeah.
And they're spitting out who's 1 and 2. There was always somebody left out. The only one they really got was the 4, but even that they were leaving some teams out. Now this 12, this is what you want. I mean, there's 135 teams in Division 1. 12 is like, what percentage is that? 10?
What do you think the war of attrition
12 divided by 135. 0.08 times 100. 8.8%. So 8% of the field makes the playoff. It's not that crazy.
Do you think you're going to see teams bow out early due to injury? You think injuries are going to pile up?
I never root for injuries.
No, but I'm saying like with the new system, you think that they're going to play their best ball?
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know how many guys get injured for the year. Like guys, it's football. I guess guys get banged up.
Yeah,
I just think it makes games more meaningful. Like normally Texas A&M Notre Dame week 1, the loser of that game is like fucked. They're behind the 8 ball. Like you could still make the playoff with 1 loss, but you can't lose and get 2 losses. No one ever made the playoff with 2 losses. Now it's like you lose 1 game, you're completely you lose 1 game, you're okay because it's strength of schedule and like who can make the at large. It's the right way to do it.
You think they're going to be better games as well?
Yeah, I think they're going to be very meaningful games.
Yeah.
Conference championships mean that much more because if you win the conference championship, you get in. You could have like a shitty conference. Like the best team could be rated like 25 in the ACC, but they're all like 9-3. They're all or 10-8-4. They're all fighting for it. If you win that, you're in the playoff, and then you just need to be in the dance. You've seen it with baseball. The Diamondbacks make it to a World Series.
Yeah,
Padres make it to an NLCS. Like we've all seen. The Rangers were like not great. You've seen teams run through. You just got to get in a playoff. You've seen it with football.
Yeah,
the Giants' 2 Super Bowls or off the rooms of a wild card, off the run of a wild card.
Yeah.
Just get them in the dance. Let them see what's going on.
Now let me just rationalize the math right now. How many rounds is this from the wild card to the championship compared to the NFL?
So if you're the 12, you play 12-5, then to play in.
Yeah.
If you're not, you get a bye.
Uh-huh.
So it's either quarters, semis, final. So it's either 3 if you're one of the top 4, or if you're 5 through 12, it's 4 rounds.
And is that exactly the same as the NFL?
Let's see. You would get wild card, division, conference championship, Super Bowl. Yes.
So it's 4. Okay. So that was what I was thinking about, like how teams, like there is a strategy to handle that type of tournament.
Yes.
So and it's going to be looking at the pro game. So the thing is, like in the pro game, there's a lot of install that goes in the playoffs, just like to throw stuff off because you can't run everything. It's going to be interesting how college teams do that. I think we're going to see some games where they start different quarterbacks.
Here's an element too to factor in for college. I don't think it'll happen, but you have to remember there's a change in semesters.
Yeah.
For those games. So are guys going to stay academically eligible through?
Huh.
Or did a guy mail it in thinking all I got to do is I used to have to make it to the last game of the season, which was December 2nd, and then I won't play in the bowl game. Now the bowl games all matter after Christmas. When they get their grades in, are they going to be eligible when classes start on January 10th? Shit like that. Like there's just shit to look at.
Well, I think they're just going to give them. They'll let them play.
Yeah, they'll let them play.
The money's too big nowadays.
Agreed. Yeah. But guys technically could be academically eligible.
But you think are you going to see guys like Christian McCaffrey, like guys sit bowl game? Like
I don't think
the playoffs.
now. I think in a playoff, like you can't sit a playoff game. How do you look your teammates in the eye and sit a playoff game?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. You're playing for a national championship.
I mean, now that it works, it saves college football from that fact.
I think all the other bowl games, you couldn't put a gun to my head and make me play those.
Well, if it's your last,
it was a meaningless, but
if it's your last game of all time.
Yeah, but you can go out on a win on the last game you had on senior day as well. Let's say you play for like North Carolina. Okay?
Yeah.
You're not going to make the playoff. You're going to make the fucking St. Louis Bowl or whatever the fuck bowl you're going to make. Pinstripe Bowl, whatever.
Yeah.
You beat Duke in your last game. It's a rivalry, or you beat NC State. You're going out on top that way. You can control what your last game was rather than a bowl game. Like let's say you get blown out. Now you have a sour taste in your mouth. It's a meaningless bowl. Just go out senior day.
Well, what happens if you lose senior day?
I'm just throwing it out.
You're throwing
Obviously,
it out
you
there.
lose out senior day, and then you would try to change it. But for the most part, like you could go out.
Unless you're getting paid.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I get why McCaffrey did it, but I see he doesn't sit in the playoff. But no, that's exciting. What do you think, pro?
Kind of like the Falcons.
You do.
Just I think they're a fun team. I just think they're a fun team. Like I'm a Giants fan. You know, in the AFC, Mahomes. I say this: Mahomes will be the most impressive quarterback ever if none of these other young guns win a Super Bowl. Think of who he would have held down. Like Brady held some guys down, but he didn't hold all of them down. Madden got a ring. Roethlisberger got a ring. Flacco got rings. Guys went and got rings on his watch. If Mahomes holds down the likes of Burrow, Herbert, Rodgers for a couple of years, Stroud, Tua, Allen, and who else am I missing? And maybe the next wave of quarterbacks or one other quarterback in a wave. If he holds all of them down, they might be able to make a Super Bowl. But if none of them ever win and he wins like 5, he's a legend.
Then what happens if Purdy sneaks one in?
Purdy's on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So like as long as he doesn't lose to him directly. If Mahomes goes like 3-3, it loses its luster.
I mean,
but if Mahomes goes like 5-1 in these Super Bowls and holds all these guys down, you got a guy like Allen, no Super Bowl wins. Burrow, no Super Bowl wins. The allure of what Mahomes would have done to me would make him the GOAT.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Just because in the time he played?
I just think so. In the time he played, he was always the best.
Do you think he's as sustainable?
Some guys may have snuck by him, like Burrow already snuck by him once, but nobody ever like snuck by him and capitalized.
Do you see some of those guys when they get off their first contract go into the NFC because it might be an easier route?
I would. Why not? Yeah, I would duck the smoke a little bit.
Like Brady?
I mean, you also got to remember Mahomes has Andy Reid. I don't know how much longer he's going to have Andy Reid, but you know.
I think Andy Reid's sticking around until he goes.
I mean, I would stick around. Just put yourself in a position of a good offensive coordinator and take down the reins like a little bit and trust your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator, but just ride Mahomes till that fucking thing breaks, man. He's unreal. He's unreal.
What's crazy is that you guys got guys on the come up in the college game who are modeling their entire game off of Mahomes.
Right.
And
but can anybody do it as well as he does?
I mean, that's the thing.
We'll see.
That's my Zach Wilson.
It's also right situations, you know?
That's my Zach Wilson take because hear me out. Zach Wilson can in practice make a lot of the throws that Mahomes does. He can't do it on the field.
Right.
He doesn't execute as well as we see. But hey, they're saying that Darnold is going to be the starter for.
Yeah.
So like, what happens?
Right.
Mile high.
Yeah.
A lot more Mormons out
it's a
there.
weird scenario. I just think the Jets are in such a bad functional situation.
But what makes it so goddamn bad?
I don't know. It's just a dark cloud.
You worked in there.
It's just a dark cloud. Like sometimes you can't fucking get away from it. They killed 2 fans at a halftime show, right? They did a flying lawnmower act and it killed 2 fans in the stands. The lawnmower got out of control and killed 2 people. It's a fact.
What year was this?
Like 70s. Google it.
Gee.
Flying lawnmower New York Jets. Like that's a franchise that's cursed, whether you want to admit it or not.
Dude, so I used to go to the Joe Namath football camp in Connecticut, and Joe Namath was there, and coolest dude ever. I can't see him making a deal with the devil.
I don't know. It seems like he did, man.
I literally,
Seems like he did. What came up? Did you see it?
dude, I gave Pete props for fixing the internet.
But it's still slow.
It was fast the fucking last time I
Pull it
did it. Site can't be fucking reached. Okay, I'm using my mobile. Boom. The flying lawnmower that killed a man. Oh, in December 1979, a man was
1979.
killed by a flying lawnmower at a Jets game. Who the fuck? It's a good thing the lawnmower took him out. Otherwise, the poor guy would have had to live through another 37 years of Jets football.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do they have that on fucking... They don't have a video of this.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no,
But-
they do. Oh, no, they do.
Yeah, but I have a video of the flying lawnmower. I don't think they have the video of the guy getting taken out.
Okay, yeah, they have a video of the
Yeah.
flying
Well, it's crazy, man. It's cursed.
That probably fucking...
I like Stroud. I think I'm rooting for Stroud.
Stroud?
Yeah, there's a lot of good quarterbacks. But I hope the Chiefs make the Super Bowl again. I think you got to remember, like, history of the NFL, we've seen dynasties.
Yeah.
For 20 years, it was the Patriots.
Yeah.
Before that, it was the Cowboys. Before that, it was the 49ers. Before that, it was the Steelers. That takes you back to the fucking 70s, man.
Yeah.
Whether, now other teams have won. It's not like they win every year.
Right.
But for the most part, like the dynasties, Steelers, 49ers, Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs.
Yeah, the table's only open if one of those get beat.
It's how it works. Like there's
Yeah.
a dominant team in there. So we're built on watching, as much as we say, like anybody can beat anybody, and every Sunday, like we're built on watching dynasties. So we're in the midst of a Chiefs dynasty. Let's just keep riding it. It's fun.
If you have Allen on the Cowboys, do you think Josh Allen wins the Cowboys a Super Bowl?
He still had to go to Mahomes, but I think he gets them to a Super Bowl.
Do you think Dak could take the Bills to the playoffs?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
I mean, the discrepancy, like the NFL, the NFC quarterbacks just are like the AFC is the offensive conference,
Yes.
in my opinion. I mean, I know the 49ers got an electric offense, but like the NFC has just historically had worse quarterbacks, like just guys that don't make as big plays.
It's a good point. Yeah, I guess I don't. Yeah. I'm sure there was a year when it was like Favre and Aikman and those guys, and the NFC was dominating. And
Well,
Young.
that's before my time. That's before my
That's
time.
a little bit of my time, but you're right. It's been
Yeah.
a while that the AFC has dominated
I mean,
because they had Brady and Manning going forever,
yeah.
and they had.
Roethlisberger at the same time.
Agreed. You're right.
The
So
thing
the
is-
AFC has always been the quarterback conference.
The-
That's what would make it even more impressive if Mahomes holds all these guys down.
Dude, I've been watching TikToks of like people are talking like the Reebok age of the NFL, which I grew up watching. And I'm like watching these games and like watching these highlights. I'm like, I kind of think the NFL was better in a way. Do you agree?
What do you mean by Reebok era?
The Reebok era, like we're talking Ray Lewis, Tom Brady,
Oh,
Peyton
okay. When they
Manning.
were wearing Reebok jerseys.
Yeah, where they were in Reebok jerseys,
Oh, okay.
like Arian Foster.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
football goes in phases. Like, I wonder now, like, if this is what it is, like, you can't touch anybody. It's kind of
Yeah.
modified 7-on-7. What's going to happen in 20 years?
I mean,
Are you going to be playing flag?
well, they have it in the Olympics now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
Sneaky.
Do you ever see it getting back to ground and pound?
Honestly, it depends on how the college game goes.
Because the quarterbacks are only getting more talented, though. So why would you suppress them?
I mean,
But by the same token, the offensive linemen are getting faster and the running backs are getting faster, so you could run the ball that way. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be interested to see if the game ever gets back to ground and pound.
well, I feel like you don't have to, because by spreading the ball out and spreading out the formations, you're getting your players in space more. And like you can get that 5 yards because the passing game
Yep.
is so you can get that 3-yard throw. Like you can dink and dunk almost just as effectively as running it up the middle.
Yeah.
And even when you run it in the spread, you're gonna get the 3 yards because everybody's so spread out.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's only 7 guys in the box,
That
6
makes
guys in the
sense.
box. But I've been actually watching the new flag setup. I've been studying a little bit in case, a foreign
To
country
make the call.
wants to pick me up to be a coach, a specific one, or even actually, I'm East Africa. I'm in high regard.
Yeah, you got to get the citizenship.
Yeah, well, they gave me a citizenship card and took it away when I got back on the plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that would have been cool. But Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, shout out if you want a 7-on-7 coach. They're about to have a 7-on-7 series in Africa.
Yeah.
I might go back to coach it. But the 7-on-7 game is amazing. Like, I used to love growing up and playing it. I don't know if they had this in your time, but like 7-on-7.
7-on-7
tournaments.
was legit.
Oh, it was so fun.
We didn't start doing it till high school.
Yeah, high school was fun. It's just like a game I used to look forward to, like, because you could play it more. It was
Right.
almost like pickup basketball.
Yeah.
Like you could do 2 tournaments a week during like some summer camp you're doing with your high school. And it was just like so fun, so competitive, people talking shit. It's gotten a little crazy with all social media stuff, too much dancing and stuff and like dunking on each other's heads type stuff. But it was just so fun. And seeing the Olympics, I'm just like, we got to dominate this.
Yeah.
I mean, we will, but honestly, you could take a team like Uganda, who has great skill players, great speed, and they would be competitive with just a little bit of install against any other team,
Yeah.
besides the United States. Canada, Mexico's pretty good, but they're better. They have better linemen. Their skills players are all playing soccer.
Right.
But, we lost pretty badly in the World Games.
Oh,
recently.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but
So.
that's pay to play players.
Yeah.
Guys who aren't going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, we've covered a lot.
Definitely. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Always.
If you have anything else you want to plug,
Healthy Debate, Monday, Wednesdays, 4:00. We got an interview with Roan, depending on when this airs. When's this going to air?
this might air next week or Wednesday, depending on
All
how
right.
something
So
goes tomorrow.
Tomorrow we debut something with Roan. We try to place in Brooklyn that's old school Fedorovs. Monday, Wednesdays, Pick'em's coming up. Gambling streams every Monday night. You'll be in for the Jets, I imagine.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I mean,
they
that-
open on Monday night again.
I mean, Rodgers,
Yeah.
that's the Niners. I
Yeah.
mean,
At the Niners.
At the Niners.
Monday night
Freaking
again.
Bosa's going
So
to.
we'll see. But yeah, gambling coming up, Pick'em coming up. So everything's getting busy now with the fall.
Who are you? Give me some futures for NFL.
I would take the Falcons to make the playoffs, and I would take the Texans to win the Super Bowl.
Really?
For fun. Yeah, for fun. I mean,
that's a great long shot.
I still would take the Chiefs because you're never going to get it any lower.
Yeah.
So I'd take the Chiefs and I would take the Texans.
You see Stroud. Imagine if Stroud beats Mahomes
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
crazy.
That would be a crazy time. Well, thank you so much, Rico.
Thanks a lot.
Like, subscribe, check out the YouTube. It's gonna be a good time. Shout out crackheads, crack maidens.
Perfect. All right, thanks.
See you, man.
Who won't be my wife? He told me, Sonny, leave them vices on the shelf. Oh, but the dog's in the dive with a silver bullet